Okay, test, test, test. Test, test. Let's see how this thing goes. Good evening, everyone. We are doing a quick, well, not necessarily quick. It might actually be for a little bit. I am actually going to test this out, see how things sound, see how it looks. Good evening, everybody. Appreciate you being here to help me out. Um, I don't necessarily know what we'll get into, but I will tell you that if you could, in the chat, just let me know if you're hearing anything like little clicks with the microphone, or if the picture actually doesn't look very good, anything like that. Just, oh, I know. Yeah, I gotta redo the whole thing. I pulled down a bunch of stuff with my in the orbiter. It was looking pretty cluttered for a while, so I got rid of it. Little clicks in the mic. Okay, that should actually. Okay. Just keep listening and giving me some feedback here. That the clicks should actually dissipate here in a bit, but just making sure. What we'll probably end up doing is going through a mission just to see how it visually holds up. I don't know if anybody was here the last time that we streamed. Um, the There would be a lot of choppiness. Still clicking. Great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. 1 second. All right, let's give it a. I don't know if anybody can pop in an audio chop. Okay, how about now? I've actually changed a few things up here, just making sure. Still clicking. Bunch of clicks. Getting back to my Zaku, this is the what I call the Orkin look. Damn. All right. Thank you. This is what I wanted to iron out. Maybe get a new cable going. Good evening, everyone. Just working through a few little kinks here. I appreciate you being here for me and helping me out. This is going to be exceedingly helpful. Okay. So let's see. Clicks and pops, clicks and pops. From the beach pack. I have the beach pack. I am not related to Mr. Mythos. Alright. I don't think I have the beach pack. Still popping. Damn it. It's a microphone issue. Still popping, but less often. Okay, it might actually be working itself out. How about the volume of the microphone? Still popping, still popping. Did we get any traction on this? We're like this close to getting back into streaming. Volume's good. Okay, that's perfect. Even the game volume. Well, I guess we won't really know that. Maybe it. I wonder what the heck's doing that popping thing. It's got to be a connection. All right, let's try a mission. What have I been doing here recently? A lot of. Oh, I don't know if anybody else is going through the hassles of the Sobek grind, but it took me forever to get it. Still don't have acid shells. Kind of a pain in the butt.
You really want this? Fine.
It's off and on.
Do this.
Okay, so that'll be the last thing that I'm going to end up having to iron out before this weekend. I do want to start streaming again. I suddenly got quieter. Okay. How about now? Anything? What do you think? Better. Nice. Is what I wanted to hear. Thank you again, everybody, so much. I really do appreciate you doing this for me. Everything works out well.
The Tenno cheaters
have
decided to disrespect the rules of Rathum and come after me directly.
But when the volume goes above a certain threshold, requiring
should I show them what we do to cheaters?
Thank you. Another real quick question for you all. Does the popping happen just on when I'm speaking, or is it a game audio issue? And not today. It's not this week. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between looking at the chat and playing, so. I don't think it's a game audio issue. Okay, cool. So it's got to be the microphone. Okay. Well, we're isolating things. Is it still bad? Speaking specific. Okay, that's good. So we go with help in the mission. I used Zaku 1 for this week's what do you call it?
Found. Significant trauma.
The invigoration on Zaku this week is insane. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do a couple things this week. What I'm probably just gonna end up doing is hopping onto Amazon and buying a completely new cable. That's going to be the easiest way to just... Because I know that the microphone is fine, mainly because I don't see this sort of thing whenever I'm actually recording.
I can appreciate that, and so does my audience.
Oh, you do. This thing's insane. Make sure after the mission's over, uh, I'll show you the ribbon that we have on it as well. Thank you, everybody, again, one more time for joining.
You can be part
Uh,
of my story,
you don't know
but
how
I
much
don't
this is
think
helping
you'll
me,
like
and
the ending.
I just can't do this sort of test on my own. It's only something that
Come now,
I
Tenno
feel
can't
like
hit
would be
harder
better
than
for me to hear everybody's feedback on it, and that way I can address what the problems are with the microphone better than if I'm just listening to it myself in a private stream. So that's what I've been doing all week, actually. I've been tweaking little things and privately streaming, and I finally got to a point where the game itself, seemed to be in a position where
expecting, I don't know, more.
I don't know, just I felt confident about presenting something, because the last couple times that I've streamed were just terrible.
Tenno, I was expecting, I don't know, more. I'll be back right after these missiles! Let's pick up where we left off!
Come on down, my dear. Where'd you go?
No! You will not!
Games drowned me out. Thank you. Appreciate that. That is also something I was hoping to alleviate this evening. Let me know if that helps a little bit.
Come on, Tenno! You're like a corpus drone with a dead battery! You ain't getting no airtime! Tenno, I was expecting, I don't know.
This fight is well, it's just not the greatest fight. But if I would actually say, unfortunately, if Warframe does have a weakness,
I'm losing my
it's
patience,
boss
Tenno.
battles, or
No more playing.
let's just say they're, uh, you know, all right at best.
No! No!
Yes, you did. Nice. That's like literally well, we'll see. I want to see how many twin Comac blueprints I have, because there's going to be quite a few.
Nicely done, Tenno.
Oh, dude, what?
Defeating Kella in front of our audience will show all Grenier that there is another way.
Alrighty.
They won't
Hello.
bring us anymore. Let's get out of here.
Okay, so how bad are the audio pops and junk and stuff? Oh, look, Mediray again. Hello. All right, let's take a look.
Orders has been getting tired.
Ooh,
waiting
75.
patiently for your return.
Okay. Okay, still off and on. Well, that's not great. But it's not happening with the frequencies from before? Oh, got 5 blueprints of this, so that's nice. It might, especially if you're into the alchemy of the whole thing. Playing with Lavos would be fantastic. It's still popping pretty often. Well, I think, at least if nothing else, um, I know what I have to do. The last little thing that needs to be done with the stream. But the good thing is the picture actually seems like it's okay. Or let me ask you this: when I was in that last mission, did you notice any extreme um, visual choppiness, loss of frames, major loss of frames type thing? Picture pro. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Take care, Tay. Thank you for showing up. Okay, so that's good. Video quality is good. That was the biggest flaw from before. I do really believe that oh um I do really believe that the audio is going to fix itself pretty quickly as soon as I get a new cable. Something I would needed to get anyhow. Um, like I said, whenever I do these recordings, when I do the recordings for the videos, I rarely hear any type of like audio popping or anything like that. So it's not the microphone. That's good. It's just the connection. I like it. Okay. Okay. This is okay. It's working out really well. I'm excited because the smack your mic a couple times. Let's see. All right, I smacked my mic a couple times. Did it work? I'm glad you enjoy the that aspect of the lore. There's a ton of great Warframe lore YouTubers out there. There really are. Okay. Um, and with that in mind, I like to present something a little bit different. Um, I don't just tell the stories. See, the microphones, the cables really mess with me. Um, I like to tell the stories, but I like to get a little bit deeper into what's going on. Um, and seeing the psychological aspects of it, because I think that Warframe in particular, the, 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 the psychological aspects of the game are so prevalent. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, like I said, the good thing is that we've addressed the situation. So here's what I would ask for everybody in the chat right now. I'm obviously not going to be able to alleviate the mic popping for this evening's stream. I don't plan on streaming exceptionally long this evening. It was just like I said, it was preparation for this weekend where I'm going to start actually getting my schedule together. I don't know exactly what the schedule is going to be, but it's going to be a regular stream schedule now that I can actually do it with some form of confidence. Especially with this month coming up, we have uh, Jade Shadows, which is going to be great. I also promised way back when an Elden Ring stream, which I plan on doing with that, especially with the Shadow of the Erd Tree coming out. Also, there's another game I want to try out that I think a lot of you might be interested in. I think it's called The First Descendant. I want to try that. There's a couple other little games that I've been playing that I'd really like to show. So, at the end of the day, streaming is going to come back with a vengeance, if you will. I like the little feature presentation thing, huh? Let's just get a. Oh, thank you. Well, I think if you like what I've already brought to the Warframe table, if you will, I think you're really going to enjoy what's cooking at the moment. I have all kinds of little observations that I've made when playing, um, and what I typically like to do after I make an observation, not always, but I will check a few things to make sure that other people haven't already thought of this or come up with it in the same variation that I have. If I have, I don't know if you noticed, but in one of my previous videos, I gave credit to something that I found in Reddit regarding the alchemical symbols that are on the wall in Entradi's labs. Um, to me, that kind of stuff is what makes Warframe so much fun. And let's do we want to get a disruption? Sure. Give it a name. I'm not going to sit there and grind for acid shells all evening with y'all. I feel bad enough having to keep you here for that. So. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is actually an interesting thing. If you go through Entradi Labs, let's go through Entradi Labs. Maybe we can do a few things here. I'll just go by myself. Sure. So the vessels, if you've been looking around and found all, you'll know that some of them have heartbeats and some of them do not. The other interesting thing that seems to correlate with that is that the ones that have heartbeats also tend to have eyes. Their eyes are actually like normal looking. Whereas if you go to the Sanctum Anatomica, one of the things that you'll notice with the vessel that we took over is not only does it not have a heartbeat anymore, but it also doesn't have, you know, normal looking eyes. The eyes have been like whited over almost. And there is evidence of that throughout Entradi Labs. It's not just in the one that we commandeered. There's other vessels that have similar characteristics, if you will. Yeah, so there is a reference in. I'm trying to think where exactly it is, but there is a reference somewhere in the lore that talks about the. Wow, President didn't do well. Talks about what happens when we transfer into a warframe or into the vessels. We essentially send their souls to oblivion. I don't know if that is exactly the way it's supposed to be, but something happens with everything that we transfer into it, it appears. That once it's done, we modify the original host in some way. Game's drowning me out again. Okay, sorry, Jerry. Let's. Gotta remember that Kuva Sobek makes a lot of noise. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. That given that I think a lot of people have been going after their Kuva liches and such recently, the correlation between the liches and whatever Entradi's been up to, with the fact that you have Requiem murmurs and you have the particular Requiem words that need to be, you know, situated in a very particular manner in order to dispatch them. And then on top of that, the fact that essentially, if you think about it, the Worm Queen is the one who was able to figure all this out, if you will. enough to make Kuvaliches something that were, you know, realistic, if you will. Yeah, the only thing that we really have to worry about with the man in the wall at this point is what exactly is our light? What does that mean? I mean, I think we've all kind of postulated our own ideas of what it is, but there's really no confirmation. I'll be very curious to see what they actually. I was under the same impression. I thought that the light was the soul or the innocence of the child, something to that effect, something that would be potentially something that a universal being would be interested in, given its situation. But as we know it right now, there still is no like confirmation on what that is, and it does seem even stranger, in my opinion, that we make this deal with the guy, and then he removes our memory of what the deal entailed. Yes, I actually do. I think in the end, we will operate the vessels almost exactly like we operate the warframes. The thing that I'm curious about is I don't know what power sets the the vessels have. Like, is the vessel of Arthur, is will that have like Excalibur's ability set? Actually, in doing my recent video on Awakening, something I didn't include because I don't. It's really hard to gauge the how prevalent this particular point is with the memories thing, but Vor seems to believe that the Ascaris is the thing that took away our memories. And there is some evidence within the actual reading lore to suggest that that might be true. If that is true, it also could mean that not every Tenno lost their memories. But again, it's speculation. It's not 100% because there's nothing in the lore that specifically says this is the case or this isn't the case. The only thing that's bad about the dual toxicist is the setup, the incarnate. But aside from that, it just becomes amazing. Wow, and Trotty Labs, although it is in one of the probably the coolest areas I've ever seen in Warframe or any other game, it is just an absolute beast on the Xbox Series X. Like, you can tell my console's having some real problems keeping this looking normal. Rel Rel is such an odd character because he really stretches the lore. Um, and what I mean by that is I'm under the assumption that Ballas had to have instilled some aspect of the Lotus's memories and consciousness within to the Lotus. I mean, there's no way she could have all of her memories and such without it. And with her insinuating that Rel was a Tenno that she didn't even know about seems really odd because one would assume that if nothing else, she still would have known about Rel, just potentially didn't know what happened to him after he had been, um, you know, cast out from the program, if you will. Yeah. So that particular fact is very, very, very important because there is such a gap there that there's so much interpretation that needs to happen in order to try to understand that it makes you almost feel like there's something that we're missing. There's a piece of data that we will get at some point. We don't necessarily have it yet, but it's on the way, hopefully. That being said, he definitely does have some type of presence because it appears at least that he shows up in Duviri as what is it, the Watcher. Well, I mean, my biggest thing is I've always been curious of is Rel the product of the void? Yeah, and again, that's of course that's another really good possibility is that given that we've already seen some pretty good evidence for entities putting memories into our subconscious, if you will, such as when the man on the wall visits us after the sacrifice quest and tries to instill in us the idea that we, in fact, killed Isa, and not an incident that happened a long time ago. So the idea that aspects of our past that we've been told are actually untrue, without question, without question. So I don't necessarily know if Rel didn't exist, but I wonder if Rel was lost and what came out was his doppelganger, but because somehow the Red Veil was able to uh, get him, is it possible that Rel's doppelganger could have just portrayed himself as a Tenno? And how would if he did do that? How would Red Veil know any different? I mean, after all, what they know of the Void is basically from worshiping him. Yeah, I don't think that he does oppose. When exactly, other than this entity saying that it opposes the man on the wall, when does it actually do anything? It's another one of those um, kind of strange inconsistencies because even though after the Chains of Hera quest, that's whenever um, the man on the wall shows up in our orbiter for the first time. We see him at the end of the War Within, and there is a prevailing theory that I'm actually becoming more and more on board with every day, in that the more that he becomes known, the more that people believe, the more real he shows up. I think Drusus was the one who said that in the Dante Lavire, and the Rel quest was essentially an origin story. I mean, that, if you ask me, starting in the second dream, we're within Chains of Hera, Sacrifice, all of those quests. To me, all bangers, all bangers, everyone. The new war was just it was one of the most fun quests I've ever had the privilege of playing, and furthermore, what made it great was that DE decided, no, we're not going to make this a typical campaign where it's, 2 hours long with some stuff to ponder over. This thing is going to be a huge quest, a ridiculous quest, and it was, and it just broke all kinds of boundaries and just threw the lore 8 different curveballs. And to me, it didn't make any sense, but it was amazing, and I loved it. Yeah. Yeah, and it added all kinds of little features to it. I mean, like the new war was like that was the culmination of Warframe. It utilized all the things, Necromex, Arcwing, Railjack. It was it was the premier quest. One more time, good evening, everybody. Thank you for showing me up here at this impromptu stream. I apologize if the audio is a little bit bad. The idea of this stream was this is for people that just joined. The idea of this stream was to get out all the kinks so I can start streaming full time. And everything is good aside from the audio, which is something I can pretty much address with I believe, a very simple purchase. So that's something once the stream is done tonight, I'm going to get online, get me my cable, and then hopefully this weekend we will begin. Swazdula, good to see you. I was like, my mic is failing. It's interesting because when I record my videos, none of this occurs. And I just actually recorded another video today, by the way. The script for it, that is. So that will be something that'll be coming out. It's a little bit different than my typical videos, but I hope you guys will enjoy it all the same. Um, yeah, that's it. I feel like the last video that I did really opened up a can of worms on the the state of terraforming in Tau. Is it terraformed? Is it not? What happened there? No, I don't think fighting Wally is going to be the answer either. Alexis, I actually think, yeah, without question. And I think we're already seeing aspects of it when you go to the current Zeraman. Um, speaking to all the holdfasts. I'm not going to say anything more for people that don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I if anybody saw my original video for Whispers in the Walls, the first one, the very end, it seemed to me like what happened in the sacrifice, Alan, like what you're talking about, uh, appears to be the Tenno's secret weapon, if you will. They are obviously incredibly proficient with weapons and abilities and everything else. But what makes them unique is that they can also, um, what's the word I'm looking for? They can also solve a problem with caring and love and forgiveness, which is something you don't typically see in, like a bloodthirsty mercenary assassin type. Yeah, our naivety is our greatest weapon. Either that or our ability to follow anybody's orders, pretty much.
We've had a few setbacks, but we are going to crack on.
That's something I'll actually probably uh, play from the get go there. Soul Frame. I mean, I might as well. So hopefully we'll get to play that a little bit, and it will be an enjoyable experience. It's definitely a departure from Warframe. It does feel like kind of like Duviri, the game. Oh yeah. Okay, so I will be doing. Let's see, it'll probably be not the next video, but the video after that will be. I'm gonna start to get into a deep dive on the Archons, and I think there is an Archon slash Angel correlation. Now, in the Jade Shadows, now we're seeing the angels. Um, the biblical sense of things. I do think that they're going to show that the archons were meant as a force, like the sentient force, meant to oppose the angels, which is why I think the naming conventions have kind of similar aspects to them. I believe Steve. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, um, and incidentally for this weekend, if anybody is interested in joining some of these games too while I'm playing, feel free if you're on. That'll be something this, like I said, once I get everything situated, we can all play together. Something that I used to do a lot back in the day. Like to get back into it again.
Tenno, our work goes on.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's talk about Ballas for a second. I got to do a video on this. Apparently, I gotta do a video on poor Ballas because I know everybody hates Ballas. Well, not right now. I'm going to be probably logging off here shortly just for this evening. But this weekend, if you want to play with me, what I'm going to be on, I'm going to be setting up certain timing, if you will. Um, please feel free. Like I said, I used to really, really enjoy doing that aspect. Um, one more thing. So I got to get back to balance. Everybody hates balance, but the thing about it is I feel like for people that had the wherewithal and the know-how that he had, very few of us would have done anything different. I know that sounds very hard to accept, but I just don't think a lot of people understand the what transpired from his perspective. See, Ballas was just a guy, just a regular guy in a relationship with someone that he deeply cared about. Then this this incident occurs where essentially these children come. And again, I'm not trying to justify his actions in the grand scheme of good and evil here, because what he did was horrific. What I'm trying to say is that he comes in, he has this person that he's obviously deeply in love with. This person, righteously, she should have done this, but this person, all the same, essentially abandons their relationship for the children. Now, I understand that on the surface, you're like, oh, well, they're just kids. You have to be okay with that. It's like, yes, I get that you always want to do the right thing, but you also have to consider that. Imagine yourself if you were in a relationship with somebody, you guys were, extremely close, you know, and then one day something happens and everything changes. All this person's time goes to someone else. And then on top of it, this thing, this this project, if you will, because that's really what it was. I mean, Ballas didn't look at these kids like kids. He looked at them for their abilities. So whenever she literally chose the children over their relationship, because that's what happened whenever she didn't recant and face the Jade Light. She essentially chose the children over Ballas. And again, you have to remember that Ballas doesn't look at the children as children. He doesn't see them like that. He sees them as demons. That's why he always calls them demons. So it's almost like we've probably seen the horror trope in movies a ton of times where some uh, either the father or the mother takes on this creature that they find and starts to love it, whereas the other people are like, whoa, what exactly are you doing here? So now she dies for these in his mind devils. And so I think many people, i- if they were in that relationship, they would feel ultimate betrayal too. Okay, so the mic clipping is still going, but it seems to be at least maybe a little bit better. I don't know. Regardless, now what he does is he then creates another entity that's supposed to take on the idea of the Lotus, right? But he programs this one in particular to, let's say, be more subservient to him. Again, not justifying any of this stuff, but I am saying I can understand where he's coming from. Yeah, and there you go, Joshua. That's a good one. I mean, this is the power of the Tenno. They did something to one woman, and the Tenno, who, I mean, let's be real, they knew they knew Margulis, but how well was it worth destroying everything? Now, bear in mind, I still under the impression that the blinding, that was Ballas's idea. Or I mean, not the blinding, the death of the seven, or the emperors, or whatever you want to call it, what happened on that massacre, in the massacre, that was Ballas who did that. He programmed the Lotus to lead the Tenno to destroy the seven. That was his revenge against them for what they did to the Lotus, or to Margulis. And I think somebody in one of my other videos actually pulled mentioned it, that he said, there's a part where, what's his name, Era even speaks about the Tenno afterwards, after Ballas has already taken control, and he says, you already have everything you want. Everybody is following you, and he's like, but not them. They're the thing. The Tenno are the thorn in Ballas's side. They ruined his life, according to him. Again, eh, you can have your own perspective on the matter. Hello, Brian. You can have your own perspective on the matter, but, well, Joshua, I still think that we're going to find that the Lotus's powers are augmented in a particular way, and I'm even kind of curious as to if the Lotus we received back from the New War is the Lotus that we lost. Excuse me. I'm sorry, a little cough there. Um, but uh, you know, the everything leading up to that is a trick. You know, Ballas is incredibly intelligent, insanely ambitious, and conniving. Well, so I was thinking that the when we lose the Lotus during the New War, losing her hand, she goes into the void. They never mention how she came out. Who pulled her? Who put her into the thing? There's a huge section of the New War that is just completely omitted. And Duviri doesn't explain it either. Like if you play, you know, through the quest of Duviri, whereas it absolutely does flesh in certain aspects of what happened in the New War, the why, or the maybe, or the more so the how, is left completely um, wide open. And I will say that it also does appear, if you ask me, that the Lotus that we received back has way more crazy powers. That's what I think. I believe that he's the man in the wall is the key to all this. Um, I think the man in the wall helped Ballas because it knew that he was. Now, this is in hindsight because this was something that the DE kind of added at the onset of Whispers in the Walls. How the new war like kind of brought Whispers in the Walls into effect with Ballas opening the void portal was the thing that kind of called Wally to this area. But I really do think that he was kind of either Ballas knew about the man in the wall and they were working together, which I think is totally possible given the fact that Ballas himself shows up in Duviri, but also um, is he's just he just seems to know everything. He's one step ahead of everybody. Yeah, again, I think Wally likes Ballas for the same reason that Wally likes us, and Wally likes um, uh, Albert. Albert himself postulated that the man on the wall was largely interested in very unique people, and Ballas would absolutely fit that bill. So, at the end of the day, is that a possibility? Yeah, yeah. I really do think that we're going to come to see that the man on the wall actually played an even bigger role than we think in the new war, and I would not at all be surprised if Ballas makes a return. But I would just keep an eye on it the way his eyes look. Oh, I know. That's in the grand scheme of things, it really does seem like if if what Warframe's trying to do here, if Wally is this reflection of the collective unconscious, as I like to think, the it's something that's every human being is connected to. Is pretty much set up that he's the lifeblood, if you will. So, in the grand scheme of things, everything, everything, anything that you saw with cloning in the Grenier, anything that you have with any of the amalgams, anything with the corpus, um, heck, even aspects of the infestation. Heck, that could be the reason why the infestation fears that the void, because it doesn't want to have the association that it originally did, that it understands what that is in the grand scheme of things. Oh, thank you. Glad you. Audio cutting out. Holy. Hello, can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Did I lose you? Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Okay. But I'm actually going to be probably shutting this stream down here this evening, guys. I do very much appreciate you helping me out, getting everything situated in this impromptu meeting. Yeah, well, he doesn't want me to. He doesn't want me talking about this stuff, obviously. But this weekend we are going to start nice and fresh. Also, what I want to start doing each week is putting out like a little poll to see what video everybody would like. So keep an eye out for that in the future. We're going to be doing a bunch of new things. This summer should be a very interesting summer for the channel. So thank you guys all for the support. I really do appreciate you being here and helping me out. Hope to see you this weekend, and we can talk about some really good stuff then. So once again, just want to thank everybody for being here. Uh, and I am going to call it for right now. So you all have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself, and hopefully I will see you in a couple days. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.